I should begin by making a confession. I don't vote. People think they should vote because they've been told that in school, and there's a large volume of propaganda at any given point in time. A great many of them are under delusions as to the importance of their vote. They think that their vote makes a lot of difference, but as a matter of fact, it doesn't.
Bummer. Every election we hear the same thing. Your vote counts. You can change the future.
It's usually said that it's more likely you'll be killed on the way to the driving to the polling booth than that your vote will change the outcome.
So obviously, while Gordon Tullock sits at home avoiding car crashes during national elections, 115 million other Americans choose to do the opposite and cast their ballots. Gordon Tullock's the kind of guy who doesn't do things just out of a whim. So why does he do this? Why does he not vote? Tullock's argument for not voting relies on a type of mathematics called division, and it works like this. Let's say I go to the supermarket with two buddies and buy some frozen pizza. We decide to vote on what kind of pizza to get. Using division, you can see that I hold 1/3 of the voting power. That's huge. My vote has a big impact on the final decision. In fact, in a split decision, I'm the swing voter. My vote determines the outcome. However, if this supermarket worked like an election, things would be different and a whole lot more crowded. Now it's not just the three of us deciding on frozen pizza, it's us and everyone else in our state. That's thousands, maybe even millions of people all deciding on pizza. Let's divide again. In this scenario, we see that my vote is basically insignificant.
The reason I don't vote is because I know that there's no likelihood my vote will affect the outcome because there's so many people voting.
Well, you might say that we're not purchasing pizza, we're picking a president, and that's way more important. While it's entirely rational to not vote because of division, maybe that's not how people decide whether or not to vote.
I think a great many voters just like voting, and that, of course, is a benefit if they feel that way. As it happens, I don't.
We don't just like voting. Aren't we upholding democracy? Aren't we exercising a right that people have fought and died for? Aren't we doing something for the greater good? Besides, if everyone thought like Tullock and no one voted, we wouldn't have a democracy.
Suppose nobody voted. And I respond by saying if nobody else voted, I would vote. Because I'd be all by myself picking. And the fewer other people vote, the more likely I am to vote.
Really, if everyone thought like Tullock, then they would only vote when almost nobody is voting. Which means that if nobody's voting, then everyone would think that it's the time to vote. So they would go out and vote, and then there would be too many people voting.